we're back with chapter 6 of Guinea Pigs Online. Hopefully we're going to find out who rescued Coco after she did what we all know we must never do and gave out her personal details on the internet and met up with somebody that she didn't know. Very silly, Coco. Chapter 6. Eduardo. The sound of singing woke Coco. She yawned and stretched, imagining for a moment that she was back in the hutch with Fuzzy, listening to Radio 2. It was rather a nice song, she thought lazily. It just needed a harp accompaniment. A song about guinea pigs. Was she dreaming? Coco sat up, puzzled. It was quite dark. She sniffed. She was lying on a bed of fresh hay, but it didn't smell quite like the fresh hay in the hutch. It smelt even better. Like Henrietta's special hand cream, grassy and lemony and soft and zingy, all at the same time. Coco climbed off her bed. The floor felt dry and dusty, not at all like the newspaper at the bottom of the hutch. She reached out with her front paws. The walls felt different too. Not chicken wire with a water bottle poking through. This felt like earth. Suddenly Coco remembered. The cunning fox had tricked her. She'd gone to the cops to help Fuzzy and nearly been eaten alive. Someone had come to her rescue. Could that someone be the same someone who was now singing such a beautiful love song? Coco blushed. Her heart jumped. She felt her way along the walls, following the sound. She stopped. The most handsome guinea pig she had ever seen stood in the middle of a small hollow under a shaft of light which shone through a hole above him. He had short, thick fur, a deep black undercoat sprinkled with silver, which glowed in the light like tiny diamonds, and black eyes. Slung over his shoulder was a small blue satchel, which he was mending with a needle and thread, pulling it in and out. He paused, lifting his head as if about to sing another verse. Then he saw Coco. He stopped his mending and smiled. "Are you feeling better, señorita?" Señorita? Coco nearly fainted again. He was so romantic. She felt like a princess. "Yes," she squeaked, "I am. Thank you so much for rescuing me." "You're welcome." He looked at her from under his shaggy eyebrows. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Eduardo Julia Antonio de Monte." There's a picture of Eduardo. "From far away in the Andean Mountains, Cavi Boliviensis." "I'm Coco," said Coco, "from number 7 Middleton Crescent, Strawberry Park, and before that I lived with the Queen, Cavi Palenciasis." "Really?" Eduardo nodded thoughtfully. "The Queen?" He frowned. "So tell me, Señorita Coco, what's a pretty princess like you doing hanging around a place like this at midnight?" "I was trying to find Fuzzy." "Fuzzy?" "Yes. We share a hutch. He's Ben's and I'm Henrietta's. He's not my boyfriend or anything," Coco added hastily. She explained about Scarlet Cleaver's advert and about Fuzzy running away. She told him about Terry finding out about the other missing guinea pigs on the computer. "The fox sent me a message," she said, "after Terry left, pretending to be a friend. He offered to help me find Fuzzy. That's why I agreed to meet him here." "Caramba!" Eduardo whistled. "You should choose your friends more carefully next time, señorita. Don't you know you should never—" "One does now," Coco said miserably. "I won't do it again. It was all so different at the palace," she sobbed. "One simply wrote letters, placed them on a silver tray and asked the butler to put them in the post." "I see." Eduardo raised his eyebrows. "Well, it's not like that here in the copse, señorita. You have to be able to look after yourself or it's curtains. You have to find shelter, search for food, keep a watch out for predators." He shook his head and rolled his eyes. "Man, you domestic guinea pigs, you're so spoilt you're something else." "What do you mean?" Coco asked huffily. There's no need to be rude. "My mother brought me up as a freedom fighter," Eduardo sighed, picking up his mending. "Eduardo," she said, "travel the world and free your brothers and sisters." "I did, as I was told. Like her, I used to think all guinea pigs should be free." He shrugged. "Since I've been here, I'm not so sure. Some guinea pigs like you, señorita, are better in cages. Off you go, back to yours now, where you belong." "They're called hutches, actually," Coco chattered. Eduardo was making her feel quite cross. She couldn't imagine why she'd ever liked him. He was clearly not a gentleman. And there's nothing wrong with living in them as long as you have nice owners, like Henrietta and Ben, or the Queen. Wouldn't you rather be roaming the Andean Mounties? Eduardo looked aghast. Foraging for chickweed? Certainly not, Coco snapped. One would miss the quilted toilet paper, one should think. Besides, it would make Henrietta and the Queen very sad. Which reminds me, she said firmly, I have to find Fuzzy. Ben will be terribly worried. Which way is out? Where are you going? Eduardo blocked her path. Coco drew herself up and flicked her whiskers at him. 111 Upper Street, she said stiffly, to Scarlet Cleaver's new restaurant. Eduardo laughed. How are you going to get there, señorita? A horse and carriage, perhaps? He was making fun of her. One will hail a taxi. Coco tried to sound more confident than she felt. Sure, Eduardo nodded. Do you have any money? Money? Coco felt confused. The Queen never carried money. I thought not. Eduardo blew out his cheeks. Then he bit the thread off the satchel and placed the needle carefully upright in the cotton reel. Good as new, he said, flipping the satchel open and stretching it. Pass me my skeleton keys. Your skeleton keys? They're on the wall. We might need to break into the joint, and we'll take some grass in case we get hungry. We? Coco said faintly. Yes, señorita. One has decided to come with you to help you rescue your friend Fuzzy. He bowed. Eduardo Julio Antonio del Monte, at your service. He winked. The only problem is, Princess, as the horse and carriage is busy today, I guess we'll just have to take the scooter.